Okay, I just finished up playing in Eternal Weekend. Unfortunately, I dropped at 3-3. I had a really good start at 3-1, but then got a little bit unlucky in the last two rounds, ultimately getting knocked out of the tournament by Jund, which D&T is not going to beat the deck that plays like Plague Engineer, Toxic Deluge, Huntmaster of the Fells, multiple Lilianas. It was not good. I don't want to harp on my opponent, but like they did not play well. They made multiple like game losing mistakes, and it did not matter. Their their deck was very good against what I was doing. Um, so just quickly going over my matches. I won against Hogak, won against Sneak and Show, lost to a blue loam deck with main deck Field of the Dead. Uh, Field of the Dead obliterated me. I could have beat them if they did not have that card, but that card helped them stabilize so well. Won against Omni, narrowly lost to Red Prison, and then got obliterated by Jund. Um, More so than anything else, today was just a day where Luminar Aspirant just did amazing things. So I just want to highlight a couple of the screenshots I took from the event. So this was round one versus Hogak, and Luminarch Aspirant alone increased my clock by so much. Like you can see here, I have, under normal circumstances, I would have had a 1-1 and a 1-2 creature that like could not have profitably attacked through this stupid little crab right here. And Luminarch Aspirant generated 5 +1/+1 counters that let the whole team start getting in there and doing like very profitable damage amounts. So that what would have been a very anemic clock really became something that was scary. And in addition to just being able to attack itself, it also turned two of my dead creatures that couldn't have attacked otherwise into things that were profitably dealing damage. This was against the Jund opponent in the final round. So my opponent played a Liliana onto a board where I had a Thalia. And they wanted to attack my hand, and they thought they were going to keep their Liliana alive. So I believe they knew I had the Recruiter of the Guard, so they like knew I had that and not another 3-drop. So they plus the Lily, thinking they're going to get to like take one of my cards, keep it alive, and then get to take another one of my cards the following turn. So I tap Vial, get a Recruiter, get an Aspirant. That got me up to 4 power, which let me kill the Liliana of the Veil. And your initial thought might be, well, you could have just gotten Skyclave and exiled that. Yes, that's true. But what does this line do? This line is better if your opponent ends up having a sweeper, because you don't end up giving them a 3-3 afterwards, and that's super relevant. So I thought this was a really heads up line that I took. Unfortunately or unfortunately, they did have the Toxic Deluge, and they got their 3-for-1 there, and it was very good. But they got their 3-for-1, but then they didn't have a 3-3 afterwards, which was kind of a huge deal. I have one more that I wanted to show off. This is my favorite one. I think this was round 2. This is Luminarch Aspirant killing a Grizzlebrand in combat. Don't don't think I need to say much else there. Um, if this was most other creatures that I would be playing in the deck, I would not have been able to generate a creature that like reasonably could be beating Grizzlebrand in combat here. Even if I had gone like Thalia, like the Thalia was drawn late and the Batter Skull was mana intensive. So in order to get something that otherwise would have been able to take down Grizzlebrand, I probably would have had to go like Thalia plus Batter Skull plus Sword of Fire and Ice, which is so much mana. And when you compare that to the amount of value that Luminarch Aspirant generated over time, like it's kind of crazy how good this creature was in this match. Um, More generally, in game 3 of that set, My first two turns were Deafening Silence into Luminar Aspirant, and the Luminar Aspirant. Oh, sorry, that was against Omni in, I think, round four. I played Deafening Silence into Luminar Aspirant, and the Luminar Aspirant ended up putting so much pressure on my opponent's life total, they couldn't draw cards with Sylvan Library. So they played the Sylvan Library, and they were able to use it to filter, but never to draw an additional card. So my tournament performance was obviously below average for the weekend. That's okay. But my take home message for anyone watching these is like, be testing this card. It is doing very, very stupid things for me very consistently. You shouldn't be ignoring this card. All right, I hope you have enjoyed these little Eternal Weekend diary videos. Have a great rest of the day.